How's it going, fam? Do you not know whether or not shadow work is for you? If so, then let's find out by talking about signs someone might need shadow work. So, the first one is when someone's anxiety is at an all time high. You're making fear based decisions, you're having fear based responses due to things that could have happened yesterday or 20 years ago. Times like that, without tracing back to the root, they will always come back over and over again, especially when we're not shining a light on them, our darkness and things like that. And if we can't eliminate those behaviors based on our fear based responses and our anxieties, then we can monitor why we feel this way when certain situations happen. So let's say that I got into a car accident 5 years ago, which is actually not that untrue, not 5 years ago, but whatever. But if I got into a car accident, a really nasty one about 5 years ago, and I have some qualms about driving, and I'm not really considering why that's a factor and why I don't like to drive, then I'll always have those issues without trying to examine where the root cause comes from. If I don't think of it as, oh, maybe it's because I, got into an accident. Now that I know that I did fine from the accident, and that it probably stemmed from me not being a great driver, what can I do to be a better driver rather than using that as a way to not use my form of transportation. There are other ways to think of it that way, but that is an example of how we can monitor how our fears based on where they come from, so we know that they don't have to continue happening in our future. Hopefully that makes sense. Number two is when your self-esteem is at an all-time low. Like, you really feel like you ain't shit. You feel like you're not about shit, and you kind of don't know why. Because sometimes we know that we're cool and we don't at the same time. We might put on a facade that we're amazing, but then underneath it all, we feel like dog shit. And when you don't examine that, you're probably going to always feel that way underneath it all. And you don't want to just show people that you're feeling good about yourself. You want to actually feel good about yourself. So when you're feeling very low when it comes to self-esteem, self-assurance, your liberation, your authenticity, your power, your confidence, all those types of things, usually it comes from what we've been told as a child or what we've been told in society. For example, with global anti-blackness, I've been told I ain't been shit my whole life. But because I've done my shadow work and because I live an authentic life, I know that that's all a lie. And I know that I'm determined by that, by my character and not by the way I look. Even though I know I ain't shit, though. There's some people who ain't shit, but not everyone's worthy of love and things like that. But yes. So yeah, if you're feeling really low about yourself, that is a really good indicator that you need to do some deep diving. Number three, your thought patterns are negative, aren't serving you, or just flat out intrusive. Like, sometimes we're not even aware of what we're thinking, and it's not our fault because we're always running on autopilot. But when we actually shine a light on our thoughts, being conscious of our thoughts, being mindful of our thoughts, sometimes we'll realize that we're talking shit about ourselves, we're talking shit about other people, we're replaying a situation that was painful that's happened years ago or even yesterday, types of things like that that don't even really serve us. Our mindset really, really matters. And we don't all have the luxury to control those types of things. But when we can, we have to do something about them. Our thought patterns have a lot to do with how we feel about ourselves, what we allow into our lives, what we tell ourselves that we're able to do, all those types of things. So when your mindset is not there due to your thought patterns, it is a time for that to change. And you'll only really know why you're feeling that way or why you're thinking that way if you do some shadow work. And number four, my absolute favorite, you lack introspection. You don't look in the mirror. And you know what? That is not your fault. It's hard to not be defensive when someone tells you some shit about yourself, or when you put a wall up because you have been bullied or criticized or judged harshly based on, like, your appearance, based on things that you can't control, other types of things like that. Like, you don't want to look at yourself in the mirror and be too harsh on yourself because other people have done that for you, and that doesn't feel good. But the thing about introspection, though, is that we're all going to have to change. We all want to develop into better people to our terms. So that doesn't mean that you have to fall to the will of others, be who others want you to be. That just means pay attention to your flaws and your characteristics that are unsavory or unpleasant, and see whether or not you want to make changes. If you don't, that's on you. That, do you be authentic. But if you see that they are a problem, they're causing problems in relationships, the way you feel about yourself, holding a job, the way others see you in public, blah blah blah, if those things are not serving you, then it's time to change. And there ain't nothing wrong with change. You are not going to be the same person forever. So yes, hopefully this all makes sense. If any of these factors resonate with you, then it's time to do some deep personal work, y'all. And if you need help, I'm your femme for that. So I'll talk to you later in the next video, and I affirm you're gonna have a great day today. Bye-bye.